Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. This is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about, can you be arrested because of your debt? Not to scare you about anything, to give you strength, to give you power, to give you answers, to give you information, so you will know that this type of stuff is going on and what you can do about it. I believe that this is very important information, and you will be shocked when you hear some of the stories that I'm going to read. I will put the links on for the stories that I use. I will put the links in the video, or in the comments or the description section. I will put links to everything that I talk about. And but this is very important. Can you be arrested because of your debt? No, you cannot be arrested because of your debt, but you can be arrested because of your debt. So, Steve, how can you say you can't be arrested because of your debt, and then you turn around and say you can be arrested because of your debt? Because people are being arrested because of their debt. The end result, if you end up going to jail because of your debt, you will say, I went to jail because of my debt, even though the court system and everybody there that's looking at you is saying, hey, you're not being arrested because of your debt. You're being arrested because you didn't answer to your debt. But let me give you I'm going to give you some examples. I'm going to talk about the states that are actually, that are doing it. Reports are coming back that these states, judges are arresting people for the end result of because they owe debt, period. Talk about those states, and I'm going to talk about some articles. And one of these articles that I'm going to read, you're going to be like shocked. You're going to be shocked because you're going to say to yourself, these people are straight up doing it because of the debt. You will be like totally shocked when I read this story. So stay with me, like this video. And I've been saying this in my recent videos, and I'm going to say it again. You can simply help other people by liking this video, sharing this video. That's all you have to do. Like, you don't have to go out, tell somebody. You don't have to say Steve is doing this for me. I would appreciate that, but you don't even have to do that. The way the system is built, you like this video, share this video, other people that are in the same boat as you will get help, just like I'm helping you. I help you. I need you to help me help other people, but really, you are helping other people find out about how to get their credit repaired, get out of debt so they don't suffer consequences like some of the stories that I'm about to read right here. And also by me reading these stories and telling you the real deal of what's happening, you will be able to not suffer the consequences that other people are suffering. And you can see by the way that some of the laws are being changed, how some of the laws are being changed, and people say, I want to go back to this date or this date. Well, did you know that some of the laws back in those dates were very, very, very much against people who owe debts to people? Just so you know, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act was not here for, since the beginning of time. And why do people say the word debtor's prison? Because there was a time that prison was available for people who owed debts, who didn't pay their debts. And in recent times, in this, well, not this century, the century that we just got out of, people were put in jail because of their debts. People were put in jail because of their debts. So don't think that a law that had one consequence and it was repealed because of whatever reason, the new elected officials with their beliefs of having stuff go back to the way that things were, and it could be an unintended consequence of bringing back debtors prison. But we don't have to go back. We don't have to go back. We can just look at what's going on right now. We don't have to go back. So are people able to be arrested because of their debt? Can people be arrested because of their debt? I'm going to answer that question right now. All right, so let's get into it. First, I'm going to be pausing the video as I move from my screens, and I'm going to put the links in the description of the video because I don't want to get the video taken down. When I've tried to show these news websites stories, for some reason my videos, like, as soon as I post it up, YouTube says this video is not gonna go. It's against its violation, whatever. So let's look at it here. I want to go first. Let's get into the states. So the ACLU had their debt to jail pipeline story. Now you've seen this one. I've talked about this one a number of times, and I just went back to it for the purposes of this video, and I feel that the states, like the map, you know how they'll show the map? They'll show the map with the presidential election, and they'll be like, these are red and blue. I swear, from the last time that I showed this, it looks like more in their video for the ACLU, it was tan. I swear that it looks like there's more states now that people are getting arrested because of their debt. That people, I'm not gonna call the whole roll, but I will say that my state of Wisconsin, which I was shocked, Illinois, Texas, Florida, California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Arizona, Utah, Colorado, I might as well call them all out, Nebraska, Kansas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Tennessee, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, I think I said Ohio. If I didn't, Ohio, Maryland, Massachusetts. Now, people, they're like, you know how people can be. When people get in trouble, people are like, you must have did something. That's just like how, like your kid do something and maybe they even got hurt doing it. And the first thing comes to the person, what was you doing? What were you doing? Also, a lot of people, they don't want to believe this because they don't experience the stuff that you go through. Just like when we have people come on and they say, well, you should just pay your bills and do all of that stuff. You want to pay your bills. You want to do all of that stuff. That's being responsible. But things happen. Either because of your bad decisions, either because of your circumstances, medical, or loss of job, something happened in the family. We all want to pay our bills, but things do happen. And a lot of times people don't acknowledge things that happen to other people or don't make a big deal about it until it happens to them, until that something happens to them. And one of the unique things that I get when I make my videos, and I think that you feel it, I think that other people feel it, even if they're not experiencing some of the stuff that we talk about on my videos, is that, Steve, you went through it. Because I done had the cars repossessed, I done had the credit cards turned off, I done had the debt collectors coming to my door, servicing, I done had all of it. I done had the people taking pictures of stuff, have to go to court, defend myself, all of it. Can't sleep at night, anxiety, got to feed the family, got to take care of stuff. Almost lost one of my businesses back when I was going through it in the 90s, all of it. And I think that people understand, because you could be with someone that you know, that, or someone can see your situation, even someone that you maybe hired to even help you, and you're like, man, you just don't even feel it. Like, you don't even understand what I'm going through. Like, it's more than just you doing something on a technical level. What about what I'm experiencing as these feelings? And that was, I was going to put that in the video about how people come to me. They come to me from one of three, I'm missing the word, but people approach me from three different situations. It's either, I'm going to start from the last one. It's either where they've just quit and they're just like, I got to just tell you, Steve, and I don't think that nothing is going to be able to help me. Like, they will actually write that comment out to me either on live chat, or they will say it here on the YouTube comments. Like, it's over for me. Or they'll be in the middle where they're looking for a solution. They're just like, what's the solution for it? Or they'll be at the beginning. This happened to me, and then I want to get what's the solution? Like, the emotional part has to be expressed, and then this is the solution. But let me tell you something, is that every one of you, including myself, we all are thinking about the first step, the emotional part, and everything else that comes after it. It's just that where you're at and where you're at and how you're expressing it is going to determine on if you've given up or if you believe that there's potentially some hope. And then at the beginning is where you're just expressing what went on to be able to get to that middle question about, is there some hope or what's the solution? And I will talk about the solution in this. I'm not going to leave you hanging with this without giving you a solution, but we need to go through this. So I just named off the states. So now I'm going to read you an article. So I'm going to put the one on here so you can actually, like, you could put, there's going to be this map on this website, and you can look. It will actually say civil court judges issue warrants for debtors. So it's not you taking it from me. This is actually from an organization that has done the research on it. So you don't got to argue with me. You can argue with them. You can send them a message and say, you're lying, and then let them see what they come back with. As a matter of fact, I think that even with what they're dealing with, people don't want to believe it, and it's because they haven't experienced it. Because people will just say straight up, it doesn't exist. Even though this company, they wrote the article, Debt to Jail Pipeline. ACLU examines more than 1,000 cases. There's more than 1,000. They just stopped it a little over 1,000. And it says that civil court judges issued warrant arrests for debtors, sometimes to collect amounts as small as $28. $28. Did you hear me? I'm going to repeat it again. The ACLU examines more than 1,000 cases in which civil court judges issued warrant arrests for debtors, sometimes to collect amounts as small as $28. Now, that we know the fact right here from third-party investigation that by doing this didn't get anything. No one paid them to do it. They went out because they saw that this was, you know, that if a news organization, if something is happening, if it happens to one person, unless they're a famous person, they don't care. And then $28. Do you think that they believed it at first, that people were being arrested for $28? Even if it's one person, even if one person is arrested because of $28, Would you believe it? If I just came to you and I started the video up and said, somebody was arrested because they did not pay a debt for $28, would you believe me? Well, that's what happened. And they stated right here, they stated it in this article. I'm going to put the link in the video. You can go see it, but I want you to finish watching the video. Now, that was the ACLU. Now, Mother Jones, well-respected publication. This is their article. When medical debt collectors decide who gets arrested. That's the headline. When medical debt collectors decide who gets arrested. Now, some people might say, oh, they're just trying to sensationalize and blow the story up. You know how the news does it. They just blow it up. Also, like this video right now. When you like this video, you help other people. When you like this video, you help other people. Here, the judge has no law degree. This is what they're saying. This is what they're saying. Now, let me just tell you something. Because I take a lot of heat where people will say, Steve, you be careful you're giving people legal advice. And I'll repeat, this is not legal or accounting advice. I'm not an attorney, and I'm not giving you legal or accounting advice. So there's a disclosure. Now, let's just go over here and read what Mother Jones found. When medical debt collectors decide who gets arrested. That's the big headline. Subheadline. Here, the judge has no law degree. Debt collectors get a cut of the bail. And Americans are watching their lives and liberty disappear in the pursuit of medical debt collections. I'm going to continue reading. This story was originally published by ProPublica. I'm going to go and look at that original story too. It says a nonprofit newsroom that investigates abuse of power signed up for ProPublica's big story newsletter. Oh, that's an advertiser for them. So sign up for their big story newsletter so we can all, when they have big stories, especially ones about debt. So on the last, here's the story. On the last Tuesday of July, Trez Big stepped into a courtroom in Coffeyville, Kansas for medical debt collection day. A monthly ritual in this quiet city of 9,000 just over the Oklahoma border. He was one of 90 people who had been sued by a local hospital or doctor or an ambulance service over unpaid bills. Now, before the people start yelling, the ones, I know who you are, you got to pay your bills, pay your bills, pay your bills. These are people who experienced a medical situation. They have medical debt. And for this story, this is about medical debt, but this is happening in other areas with all debts. But for this one here, it was over medical debt. So now, some wore eye patches and bandages. Others limped into their seats by the wooden paneled walls. You got to get that imaginary in your mind. Briggs, who is 41, had to take a day off from work to be there. He knew from experience that if he didn't show up, he could be put in jail. Biggs, who is 41, had to take the day off to be there. He knew from experience that if he didn't show up, he could be put in jail. Why, if he didn't show up, he could be put in jail? The reason why, if he did not show up, he could be put in jail because of contempt. If he didn't show up because of the debt that he owed, the hospital, doctor, debt collector, whoever in this area, I've only seen it really it was prevalent with debt collectors, but I mean, in their area, they got the original creditors doing it. They will, the judge put a bench warrant, which this is not even a judge with a law degree. He's just appointed as a judge. Put a warrant out for your arrest, and the collectors get a piece of your bail, and you gotta pay the bail to get out of jail. So before the morning's hearing, he listened as defendants traded stories. One woman recalled how at 4 months pregnant, she had reported a money order scam to her local sheriff's office, only to discover that she had a warrant. She was arrested on the spot. So she gets a money order, 4 months pregnant, goes to get a money order, and gets arrested because she had a warrant for her arrest. So she goes to report a crime, and then she gets arrested because there was a warrant for her arrest. A radiologist had sued her over a $230 bill, and she had missed one hearing too many. We don't know how many it is. How many hearings have you missed? For a court to get a contempt, I would say you can, if you get a default judgment hearing number 1, they go to garnish your wages, that's hearing number 2. A contempt order to have a warrant for your arrest, that's hearing number 3. That's the way that I see it, the way that I believe that it would happen. So 3 hearings. Another woman said she watched a decade ago as a deputy came to the door for her diabetic aunt and took her to jail, took her to jail in her final years of her life. Now, here she was dealing with her own debt, trying to head off the same fate. I'm going to put this article. When you read through this, you're going to be shocked. You're going to be totally shocked when you read this. And it says here that some debtors who have been arrested owed as little as $28. $28. It says here a cancer patient was hauled away from home in her pajamas in front of her 3 children, too weak to climb the stairs to the women's area of the jail. She spent the night in the men's mental unit where an inmate, I'm not even going to say what the inmate did. It says that with hardly any oversight, even by the presiding judge, collection attorneys have turned the courtroom into a government-sanctioned shakedown of uninsured and underinsured, where the leverage is the debtor's liberty. In jurisdictions with lax laws and willing judges, jail is a logical endpoint of a system that has automated the steps from high bills to debt to court, and that has given collectors power that is often unchecked. I mean, I'm just reading, telling you. So we already know how can you not go to jail, which is taking time off of work and going to the hearing. So that's already on the table. That's already on the table. But it looks like what's been set up in this area is that they're going to constantly call people in. So in most areas, from what I've seen, is that you just got to come in. If you come in when they call you in, even if you can't pay it, you got to tell them, this is the deal. if you don't come in, warrant put for your arrest, for you to be able to get out of jail in this situation, for you to be able to get out of jail, you got to bail yourself out of jail, and they're giving the creditors and the debt collectors a piece of that action, of that bail action. We just had a whole big thing about people not having to, for non-violent crimes, to not have to pay a bail to be able to get out, that they can just go up and talk to the judge. From my experience of what I've seen from people who have came to me in this situation, what they have reported is that they just have to go in there and just state, hey, I'm just not going to be able to pay, and they were able to get released. Now, to come full circle about what I had said earlier about, you don't know about if they're going to reach back into some old laws and it's going to have some unintended consequences. Remember, I said that earlier in this video, and what they had stated here in this Mother Jones article is that they had said that, reaching back and have some of these older laws. Remember, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act has not been here forever. Reason why the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act was was even enacted is because of the abuses that were going on. And if the abuses that are going on are not being checked and they're being able to be rolled back into laws with certain state rights and stuff that they're able to do, because it's running rampant here. We had a Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, but it's running rampant here. And you can check that out for yourself. Now, I'm going to go to some other stories. Now, this story here is on NBC News. It's on their website. This had made the Today Show, and it showed this is what happened. A Houston man says U.S. Marshals showed up at his door with automatic weapons and full combat gear because he didn't pay a $1,500 student loan from nearly 30 years ago. This happened in Texas, Houston, Texas. 30 years ago. 30 years ago. 30 years ago. Now, let me just ask you this question. If you could be arrested for a debt that you had 30 years ago, and they come to your door with weapons and full combat gear for a debt that you didn't pay 30 years ago, how would you feel? Remember when in the video I said some people come for solutions, some people come because at the end they're like, I don't know what to do, and some people come with the feeling of what is going on, what they're experiencing. Just think, if you were to get this from where you're going to be arrested because of a $1,500 debt, U.S. Marshals come to your house. I'm going to put the link to this video so you can see it, so you can get the backstory and everything. I think you'll be shocked. Now, this was a story that I had found. It says, "Welcome to Debtor's Prison," 2011 edition. This was back in 2011, this article. And it says here, some lawmakers, judges, and regulators are trying to rein in the U.S. debt collection industry's use of arrest warrants to recoup money owed by borrowers who are behind on credit card payments, auto loans, and other bills. So remember, see, that's why some people say you repeat yourself over and over and over again. Sometimes I repeat myself over and over again because I want you to get it. I want you to internalize. Sometimes you got to hear things 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times to be like, okay, Steve, I heard it. So this was a 2011 story. So if this was done in 2011, why is this now ballooning up in all of these states? Like, what is the difference between this with lawmakers, judges, regulators are trying to rein in the U.S. debt collection industry's use of warrant arrest to recoup money owed by borrowers who fell behind on credit card payments, auto loans, and other bills? Why in 2011 you got that story and they're reining it in, and now in 2024 they casting it out? Why? So to sum everything up is that number one, and please like this video. Please like and share this video. Please post your questions and comments below. So to sum it all up, you cannot be arrested because of your debt, but you can be arrested because of your debt if you do not show up for hearings that you are summoned to come to. If you don't show up to the hearing, they can potentially put a warrant for your arrest, and you can see from the proof when you go to look at the links that it is being done, and it looks like the map is expanding. If we have the wrong lawmakers, who are running the legislation, our legislators putting in the wrong legislation on the side of companies such as debt collectors, we could have this be in all 50 states where you can have a contempt that exists in all 50 states, but in all 50 states there's judges that just will not pull the trigger on it. They're just like, I just don't even feel right doing something like that. That's how the judges have put it to debt collectors who are trying to have people arrested because of their debt. Not to say that it won't happen, not to say that a law can be enacted. We see laws that are being enacted right now against women, and it seems like some people just don't care. And you might be saying, well, are they listening to women? Well, when it comes to your debt, are they going to be listening to you? Again, I believe that each and every one of you wants to pay your debt, and that you're here watching this video because of certain circumstances that led you into not being able to pay the debt that you have. So if there's any, the number one point, the number one thing that I want you to take from this video is that if you are summoned to court over a debt, you need to respond to that court summons. You need to respond to all hearings. You need to keep all communications open with the plaintiff attorney. You don't want to get caught and have to suffer the consequences like some of these other people had to suffer. And I truly, truly hope that you don't live in an area like that one in, I think he said Kansas, or right over the border in from Oklahoma, that you don't live in an area like that where it's just running rampant in a small town. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different, so you can see my 8-point validation process, my 2-phase settlement process. If you need your credit reports and scores, go to the website your3scores.com to grab your TransUnion, Equifax, Experian credit reports and all 3 scores. I want you to make a promise to yourself that no matter what, you know what's going on with your credit. You know what's going on. If a debt collector has slipped in something on your credit reports, I want you to know, and I want you to be able to start taking care of that. If you have debt collectors coming after you early in the game, grab my 3-pack of letters. Statute of limitations letter for debt that is past the legal statute of limitations. No debt validation is needed for any debt that's past legal statute of limitations, and that goes for original creditors. When does the clock start ticking for statute of limitations? Starts to click from the last payment that you made. If they have not collected it by that last, from statute of limitation passed from that last payment date, it doesn't matter if they sold it to a debt collector. It doesn't start the statute of limitations over. It goes from the last payment date that was recorded by the original creditor. And the only way you're going to know that is if you get your credit report, so you can know it for sure, because that's going to be evidence that you would be able to use. If your debt is not past legal statute of limitations, grab my cease and desist collection activities letter and my debt validation letter. Debt validation letter, because you can use those to ask certain questions of the debt collector to make sure that they have everything to come after you for that debt. Thank you for your time. Please subscribe to the channel, post your questions and comments. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com.